the boardwalk in Daytona.
What's going on, guys? I missed the first couple seconds. The boss man is shit talking some roller coasters. We're glad that you could join us. It is the live Thursday Q&A. We're driving back to Queens, and we're very, very glad that you guys can join us. If you're watching this right now, we would love for you to share this on your page. Make everybody check it out. Bring everybody along. The more the merrier, as always. You could also like, you could also comment, question, anything that you've got, throw it at us. We're very interactive. We love feedback. Oh, boss man seems to be in a great mood already.
Fuck the garbage man.
I thought that was Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
That's Tom Jubal.
Did he pay? He didn't pass away?
No, he's alive. I seen him at one of the conventions recently.
Of course you did.
That is actually, now we were talking about wrestlers that died, whether it be the 80s lifestyle or guys in the 90s. Whether we were arguing about what caused people to die and why guys like... And
what's going on, Scotty?
In Johnny's era didn't die, because I remember asking that.
In the 70s. Guys didn't die out of the 70s.
Not like they were dying in the 90s.
Right.
But that list that we just went through is insane.
Right.
There is some murders on there. There is some car accidents, which is part of life. But a lot of these guys was just overdose, a heart attack, or, you know.
Before we actually get into that, which I think could be our topic for today, where we talk about the excess of the 80s bleeding into the 90s and our theories and things, Zeno would like to know how you feel about Lucha Underground.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I know. Joe actually, because Joe doesn't watch a lot of new wrestling, obviously, if you see anything that he's ever done. But what he does like is Lucha Underground. We've discussed this a couple times, because that, in my opinion, is the only wrestling out there right now that is a legitimate alternative to WWE.
But you know what I like about it? You see, when you watch WWE pay-per-views or Raw, the ring has like the screen on it, the turnbuckle. I like gritty. I mean, I'm all for big production, but I like gritty.
I mean, you're old school and it's gritty and that's cool. But legitimately, they are the alternative. Impact Wrestling, as much as they're trying to do something different, it's wrestling in front of an audience with promos and story and all this.
That's what I liked about ECW, was that gritty feeling.
Right, and that's one aspect of Lucha Underground, but legitimately they are an alternative, something completely different. Hey, what's going on, Mark? How are you? Phil, thank you so much for the kind words. We're going to kick the shit out of the SOV in July. You just watch and see and enjoy. But we'll continue on to our discussion about wrestlers. So, a lot of the stuff that we were seeing in terms of people passing away, unfortunate passings, is, well, not flat out cocaine, but...
Dino Hernandez. My nose is getting runny.
I bet yours is. Would be drug overdoses and heart failure. Now, obviously, the drug overdoses are going to be, anything from pills to cocaine or anything else these guys are taking. But the heart attacks are all, a lot of them is, the cocktail of both drugs.
That's
and the barbiturates of steroids.
You said it right there. The cocktail, the mixture of all these drugs, the steroids, all this shit combined. In the 90s, that was huge. Guys were taking uppers, downers, cocaine, steroids, and whatever else they were doing.
So that's the thing that I also you want to stress when it comes to a lot of this stuff, especially with steroids. So steroids, maybe Joe, you can shed a bit more light on this. What exactly do steroids do for those who are uninitiated or do not know?
They make you bigger, faster, stronger.
All right, I was going to sit there. I shouldn't have asked fucking Joe to explain this.
All right, so what are you asking me? What they do to your body?
What do they do? Yes.
You're putting...
Besides making your nut shrink.
Yeah, I don't... They make you stronger. That's really the nutshell.
Okay, but how does it make you stronger? Do they just fucking give you like Popeye with spinach?
Okay, that was a steroid. I guess it depends on the type of steroid.
Okay, so I'm going to give the background here. I didn't want to get too technical with things, but Joe was sitting here treating this like he's got no fucking knowledge on any of this. What are we saying here? Saturn and Raven lived through the 90s is a miracle.
Who said that?
We have a barbed wire match in Warriors of Wrestling. We did have one. I was in it. Who am I fighting at PvP Saturday night? I will be wrestling Scotty Wild, and we're going to beat the ever-loving shit out of each other for your entertainment. But back to the steroids.
The thing about steroids, though, with the heart problems is when you inject steroids, the cholesterol in your muscle gets pushed into your bloodstream.
Okay, that is one thing that it does.
And that, obviously, cholesterol in your blood is not healthy.
So, what a steroid does is it helps your body to repair muscle faster.
Yes.
So therefore, when you're working out and you're tearing the muscle, and that's how any of that works, your body will repair the muscle, and that's when it gets bigger. Steroids repair it faster so that you can work out longer, harder, bigger, stronger, faster, like Joe said.
There's a movie called that. That's why I got that.
About steroids, and it's an excellent movie if you guys haven't seen it.
think Netflix does that.
But the question comes down to this. What is the largest muscle in the body, Joe?
Heart.
The heart. That explains a lot of that. When you're taking steroids and you're abusing steroids, your heart is going to be the first thing because that's the biggest muscle. It's taking a lot of that shit in. So that's one of them, many reasons. Nick Speranza, Batista is the example of steroids. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fucking people you can put in there.
He wouldn't be the first guy on my list.
Honestly, I'd be Warrior or fucking Dino Bravo, who was fucking... Warrior looked to me way more like a fucking steroid guy. As did Dino Bravo, was like 5'9".
Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, Davey Boy is another one.
The Warlord. I mean, these guys were massive.
Yeah, but again, they were fucking massive. Whereas Dino Bravo was like 5'9" and 5'9" wide.
And you're right, but look at you, Rick Martel. That guy looked phenomenal.
Rick Martel in his heyday, his lats were a fucking like legit wing spread.
But these guys, like, well, the Warrior had a heart, but
yeah, Scott Steiner is.
Yeah,
Steiner is the poster child.
These guys are still alive. I don't know what they did in the side, but the guys like the tests and all those. The wrestler tests. These guys were fucking around with all kinds of drugs, and when you mix it all together, boom, the heart.
There is. I mean, again, that drug cocktail that a lot of wrestlers was on. You know, the uppers, the downers, the fucking pain pills, all this stuff. I mean, your fucking heart takes a beating on it, and after a while, it can't really.
You remember that HBO thing that they did with Piper, and he was saying,
yeah, and he fucking flipped out and got fired.
Right. He would take, and he did steroids. I don't know if he talked about that in there, but he would say he would take, downers to go to sleep. He would wake up, do cocaine to get up, go to the gym, and just keep doing coke, and after
then
a while,
need the downers
to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And your body's just going up and down. That's not
right.
normal.
You're fucking increasing your heart rate, lowering it. You're fucking everything, all kinds up, and it's not good for the body. There's the other the other thing when it comes down to it of, we're talking about, the overdoses. And again, for other surveys indicate that between 1 to 3 million Americans use steroids. I firmly believe that.
How many?
1 to 3 million. And honestly, the fuck, yeah, but the what do you call it? The documentary, Bigger, Stronger, Faster. The statistics are in. Who do you think? I mean, I know you've seen the movie. I don't really remember, but who are the largest group of steroid users?
Bodybuilders?
Nope.
No?
Your average gym goer. Bodybuilders, in terms of numbers, are a very small amount of people. There aren't very many bodybuilders out there.
I would say
your average fucking gym goer.
I would say high school athletes too.
As well. 4% of high school kids admit to taking steroids. Sure. That's Dr. Mark Ellis' family right there.
But you want to know something? Because nobody's testing them. Who the hell? Yeah. I never got.
That's the truth.
I mean, in bodybuilding, you get tested. In professional wrestling, you get tested now. In the Olympics, you get tested. Nobody's testing high school kids.
That's true. Even but at the same time, you could fucking break a piss test. You can find a way to do that.
Sure.
Just because somebody tests you doesn't mean that it's fucking drug free. I say that to my wife all the time. Where her powerlifting federation is powerlifting. Her powerlifting federation, she's like, oh, and it's drug free. I go, no, it's drug tested. You could fucking pass a piss test.
I'll tell you what. Right now, when I used to work at Busy Paper, there was a boss who, if you got, it comes up random, you got to take a piss test. He'll come up to you guys. You got not for steroids, but for recreational drugs.
Crack cocaine.
Are you? Yeah, coke. He goes, you clean, and if you weren't, he would pee in a cup for you.
Protection.
Yeah. Well, he would party on the site too. I guess after 3 days, coke's out.
Ooh. Anyway, but again, going back to the fucking. Again, anybody who knows anything about drugs, I apologize if I'm, repeating things that you already know, but I'm looking to kind of set the tone of what else we're talking about. For a lot of these guys, if you spend, years upon years upon years doing cocaine, eventually it fucking, the effect wears off and you got to do more and you got to do more and you got to do more. And eventually you do it to the point where you're taking enough into your body that you fucking die. That's what we're talking about with, Rick McGraw, where,
but he was on a lot of steroids too.
Not just steroids, but his thing was fucking, what are those pills? What are they called? Somas.
I never did that. I don't know what they do to you.
Well, fucking,
it makes you all fucked up.
I know, Bret Hart's book talks about him falling asleep in a fucking bowl of cereal or something like that. Like in his fucking lunch.
Okay, I think Candido and Sonny or Tammy went to...
We're big on fucking...
Johnny's one time, and he was talking to him in Johnny's office, and they were sitting there nodding out. They were talking to Johnny.
It's rough. So, again, our debate was, Joe was talking about, guys were dropping dead more in the 90s than they were in the 80s. But my point is that the guys in the 80s were surviving into the 90s and then dropping dead. Or even like the 2000s, where like, You know,
I just don't think that. Let's
even like a Buddy Landell who died fairly recently. I mean, that was drug related. He could not leave that '80s lifestyle.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like Kurt Hennig, he died of a cocaine overdose.
Yes.
I don't think that Kurt Hennig was partying on coke from the '80s to when he died in 2000.
Then I think that you're out of your fucking mind if you don't think Kurt was partying.
When a coke addict, their nose is eaten away for all these years. You're talking about this guy, his teeth would be fucking all rotted away. He wouldn't look like he does. He would be all skinny. He would be sniffling all the time.
Right, but at the same time, you're putting all these other fucking drugs in your body, including steroids.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know,
including steroids, to fucking keep your fucking weight up. I mean, again, if you're gonna sit here and try and pretend like guys like Kurt weren't partying in the '80s.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think he was living that '80s lifestyle all through the '90s and into the 2000s. I think like guys like Tommy Rich, he's living a certain lifestyle, and you look at him, he looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, he's a bit big for the Crypt Keeper.
He came walking out, I was like, Jesus Christ. He couldn't even get up after that pile driver.
Only at Wars of Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, a lot of those guys, it was so my theory on all these things, and I mean, feel free to, comment, question, anything, throw it out there. Let's make this interactive. My theory was the 80s, the 70s, in anything, in terms of like the party lifestyle and cocaine and
cocaine was big in the 70s.
Right. You come out of that into the 80s where there's all this excess. Oh, Joe's going to take a phone call while we're on the air. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he is.
I'm on the air. Can I call you back? Yeah, I'm on the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of that lifestyle, the party lifestyle, the lifestyle of excess. And in the 80s, in the early to mid 80s, wrestling is on an upswing. So, times are good. Get while the getting's good. People are making money.
Everything's bigger in the 80s, remember that?
Yep. Everyone's making money, so the partying is that much more extreme craziness. And then you start to dip out into the late 80s, go into the 90s, and you have all of these young people.
One thing.
Yeah.
The cocaine in the 80s was a lot different than the cocaine in the 90s. Dude, drugs change. LSD changes. Everything changes. It's not as potent, or it's mixed with different chemicals. Cocaine you cut with baby laxatives. That's why you have to shit after you do a line of coke, because you put laxatives in your body.
I don't know.
Who the fuck knows what these people were cutting it with cum into the 90s? It could be all different kind of shit.
Maybe they're cutting it with cum. Who knows?
Because cocaine's not white. It's like a tannish. When you step on it, and you do deal it, you step on it, you sell it to this guy, he steps on it, it changes the color of it. You aspirin, all kinds of shit's in it. So who the fuck knows what these guys are putting in their bodies? But same thing with steroids. You don't know what you're not getting it from a doctor. In the 80s you were, I guess. And that guy and all that steroid ring. And now you're ordering it from fucking Russia or Mexico or God knows where. And you don't know what you're putting in your body.
That's true.
Comes
into anything. So dipping into the 90s. You have all of these people who were breaking into the business being taught everything. Still, the business is still kind of outlawed. There's still a lot of the kayfabe shit, especially down south. They still fucking believe in that shit. So it was old school over there, and those guys would teach motherfuckers how to party. And boom,
came the ECW.
Well, now that dips in to the 90s, where a lot of those 90s guys who were, breaking in the 90s, making the name of the 90s, were all trained by guys out of the 80s who are, going about that shit. If you look at the difference of guys, honestly...
Let's look at it. Wait, talking about ECW, I never heard, and I'm sure they were doing it, but you never heard of guys in ECW doing coke. Or even much steroid use. You would hear pills, heroin, shit like that, weed. You would never really hear too much of the drugs of the 80s there. Right. Nobody looked like they were on steroids.
So Zeno said that Eddie Guerrero took drugs before WCW. Yeah, so you're missing my point, Zeno. The fact that he would do drugs and all that stuff, he was an addict, 100%. And he admitted to being an addict. It was part of a fucking storyline. What killed Eddie was his body having to deal with fucking insane steroid abuse. His heart gave out. And that's what it was,
See, there was rumors also that he was on heroin when he died too.
It's, again, if you're on heroin, you're not Eddie Guerrero on heroin. I don't believe that. Heroin is a fucking downer. Kurt Cobain was on heroin. I believe Kurt Cobain was on heroin. Eddie Guerrero
I'm sorry. There was a rumor that he was found with a syringe in his arm. So that could have been a speedball also.
Yeah.
I don't know.